Yo, what's up YouTube? Dirty Dan coming back with another Rise of Kingdoms video, and as you can see, new setup. Shout out to Electro King. I'm gonna leave his Discord down below in the description, so if you need any profile pictures, emojis, stream setups, anything like that of the sort, hit up my man. You did an excellent job for me. Thank you so much, Electro King. Now, for the purpose of today's video, we are going to be talking about Belisarius. Now, I am I want to say well-known Cav main. Anyone who follows the channel knows that I have been a very dedicated Cav main for probably the entirety of my account, which is running on about 4.5 years now. I'm currently running a 3 Cav setup along with an infantry and an archer march. So I think I am probably pretty good to talk on such a topic as the new commander coming out, which is Beli Prime. There's a bunch of things to unravel with this commander, and I think there's a lot of things that people aren't considering that we are going to cover. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. All right, so first look, we got Belisarius Prime. I know this came out a few days ago. Cavalry versatility and mobility. I think for me personally, the mobility aspect was a little underwhelming. I was really hoping to get another primary commander to replace some of my Cav marches, but I will go through and kind of talk about that and what I'm kind of planning to do. In a way, I'm still not totally sold on him. As a quick note, I'm not totally sold on this guy. There's a lot of things that I think that we do need to talk about that maybe not have been touched on to give him a little bit more consideration. I think people are kind of blowing him out of the water too soon. Am I thrilled with him? Not really, but I am a Cav main nonetheless, so I am thinking about tweaking him within my 3 Cav lineup. So currently what I'm running is Hua William, Nev Joan, and XY Justinian. I won't go into why I'm running those. I can save that for a different video. If you guys want to know my reasonings for running those Cav marches, leave a comment down below with Cav Gang. So let's just jump right into his skills. First, we are going to have his active skill, which is Custodian of the Empire. Deals direct damage to a target troop. His rage requirements can be 1000. Direct damage factor of 2400. For the next 2 seconds, the target loses 50 rage per second. If the target is surrounded, it is inflicted with the deception effect for 5 seconds. Its active skills require 200 more rage to use. So this is excellent. When I saw this, I was actually quite happy with it. It's not AoE, but Cav Gang, we can't have it all. So I was quite happy to have this with the 2400 damage factor. The rage reduction is very nice. It's kind of debuffs that aren't super common in end game play, and we will talk about some potential pairings a little bit later in this video as well. Next skills are going to be pretty straightforward. Second skill, press advantages. This commander's cavalry units gain 30% attack and 20% march speed whenever this commander's troops exits combat. Cavalry units and their troop gain 60% march speed for 5 seconds. This is very similar to what we see with epic level Belisarius. To the last man is a third skill. This commander's cavalry units gain 25% defense. This is nice, a little bit of tankiness. While this commander's troop is on the map, whenever it launches a basic attack, has a 10% chance to deal extra direct damage to the target of a damage factor of 500. So if you really put it all together, 2900, which I know some people like to say, but it's not obviously 2900, but you are getting some nice burst damage with Belisarius. Fourth skill, Pacification of Nika. This commander's troops take 10% less skill damage, and if this commander's troop is attacking another troop on the map and the target troop has less than 80% units remaining, this commander's troops deals 30% more skill damage. This is probably something that you're going to see quite often. 80% in the grand scheme of things, I mean, you're going to fall below that pretty quickly. So 30% skill damage and a 10% skill damage reduction. And then lastly, you're going to have the expertise Roman devotion. If the current target of this commander's troops is surrounded, increases the target's damage received based on the number of troops surrounding it. 3 troops 6% more damage, 4 troops 9%, 5 troops 12%. So we're going to touch a little bit on this in just a moment, but for everything that Belisarius Prime is offering us, it's okay. It's kind of mid, as the kids will say nowadays. The active skill is is excellent, I think. You're getting some attack, you're getting some march speed. He is now going to be probably, without having Caesar and the museum buffs, he is going to, with CC, pair as the fastest cavalry commander. You're getting a little bit of tankiness, you're getting a little bit of burst damage, skill damage reduction, skill damage bonus. So he's doing a little bit of everything, but I think the one thing I would like to see is just a little bit more in the stat pool. And I think that might be a common theme with Belisarius Prime, is just a little bit more in terms of the stats or potentially AoE. But I think we had Huo. I'm thinking of real commanders now. Huo, Nevsky. We haven't had an AoE cav commander on the wheel, I think, in quite some time. Joan was the last one, actually. It was Nevsky, then Joan. So we can't have it all cav gang. So overall, his kit is pretty good. Now, why I think he is going to be somewhat more relevant than people are giving him credit for. Roman devotion. This expertise. So there was some clarifications. I want to give a shout out to the HQAQ Discord and to my buddy Dom. This was the first that I saw, and this was what kind of gave me the inspiration to do a video like this. This is a debuff. This is going to debuff the target that you are attacking. I think this is a known thing now that the info has been out there for a few days, but this really saves him, because I think at first glance you see this and it's like, oh, well, your troop that contains Belisarius Prime is only getting 12% more damage. No, this is going to be a debuff onto the target, which is going to carry over for all of your troops. So in essence, if you really want to think about it, it's 60% damage total, which is phenomenal, but it's only 12% per commander. Now, why this is a big deal, especially if there's no cooldown, especially if this just runs passive and it's whenever you are attacking an enemy, is that is going to potentially nullify a very, very meta commander right now. And shout out to my buddy Ray. We were having this discussion before. So if we go into our commander tab, Zhuge Liang, he on his active skill is pretty much spraying the field with 15% less damage for 3 seconds. This is going to now mitigate that if that is running in its entirety. So what that means is if you have a Belisarius Prime in your lineup and you are actively attacking something and surrounding a target and you get hit with this active skill, you're only going to have a 3% damage reduction instead of the full 15. That's a massive swing, guys. Like, that is huge. That alone in itself kind of warrants bringing Belisarius onto the field. And then not only this, with the mitigating factor of the active skill of Zhuge Liang, there's so much damage potential that you can have with other commander pairings. What do I mean? If we go to a commander who has recently just become kind of meta again, in my buddy Alex, and thank God he was the guy, because I have a Zhuge who's sitting at a 5551, and I didn't really know who to pair him with since I don't have a Skippy. Yes, I know. GG's. But his expertise skill is going to give you 30%, is going to give a 30% damage debuff to enemy troops, up to 3 nearby enemy troops for 4 seconds. This now has a potential to stack, since it is a passive skill along with Belisarius. All passive skills are going to stack. So you're talking about now 42% all damage after Alex launches his active skill. Active skill, passive skill. Now, if you have another commander in your lineup, if you're running, say, a Trajan with a Mulan, now you're talking about 20% additional damage debuff, damage taken increase on the target. You're talking about now 62% damage. Now, this is if all the stars align perfectly, but more likely than not, you're going to be getting that 42% kind of frequently, I want to say. And then this one again is whenever a commander uses an active skill, that increases target's damage received by 20%. So if you have a Trajan Mulan in your lineup, like this alone is making me really think of bringing a Mulan into my lineup without having a Trajan. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm really leaning toward that way. So you're talking about 62% all damage, right? And if we're going to take that 3% out, if there are a bunch of Zhuge Liangs on the field, which there usually are, then you're talking about 59% all damage. That is pretty significant. Now, other pairings that I'm thinking of running Belisarius Prime with, there's really only a few. Zhuge Bing. So my lineup, as I stated before, is Zhuge Bing, William, Nevsky Joan, XY Justinian. Most likely what I'm going to do is I'm going to move Belisarius onto my Zhuge Bing, and I'm going to look to kind of add to that defensive prowess, and also the skill damage kind of lines up with them, giving them a little bit of synergy, and they just both have very high nukes. It's going to be a single target march, which kind of stinks, but again, we can't have it all. I'm going to leave the Nevsky Joan as is, and then I'm going to run Justinian primary with William behind him. What this is going to do is finally bench my XY. This is not a bad thing. XY is great. He's had such a long shelf life. I was watching one of my streams the other day from 2070 KVK, when 2070 was an Imperium. This is almost 3 years ago, when XY Chandra rallies were a thing. So the guy's had a long run, but he's just way too squishy, and he gets targeted in the field so much because people know he doesn't have that tankiness. So now what I'm going to do is pretty much do the Saladin William combo, which was a tried and true combo back in those days as well, and kind of make, again, a Saladin William 2.0. Justinian kind of does exactly what Saladin does. I think the only major difference is there's no counterattack damage reduction, but in replacement of that, you're getting health bonus from Justinian. So that is potentially what I'm looking to run. If you're looking also for a little bit of a cheaper option, you can always go with Mehmed as well. Ray wanted me to make sure that I specifically threw this in there, but this does work for people who maybe don't have the large pool of commanders to choose from. These guys do have some synergy too with their skill damage bonus, which is going to bring it up to, I believe, 50%. 50%. That's obviously when a troop is below 80%, because you need that to proc for Belisarius Prime. And then you're also going to get the health bonus, which Belisarius Prime kind of needs. The only downside then is you're kind of running Belisarius with a primary with the mobility tree, which I would kind of lean against, but it is an option. You can kind of go a little bit more heavy into the cav tree, and there's some nice things that you can get in the mobility tree for some skill damage reduction. So I think that might be it, guys. I wanted to run through this as quickly as I can. I really do think that obviously we need to see some testing first. I believe we are going to be going into a KVK relatively soon. I know there's a couple of big KVKs that are about to kick off. 2268 is about to kick off into one, 2429. Shout out to Plato, Apocalypse, Only Farmer, Black Panther, all those guys who are, all those streamers, content creators that are in those kingdoms. Sorry if I miss you, especially 2268 guys. There's just way too many of you over there now. But shout out to all y'all. Hope you guys have a good KVK, but there is a bunch of KVKs that are going to be kicking off. So we are going to see testing on this guy pretty much as soon as he comes out, especially since he is a wheel commander. So again, I don't think we are giving him a fair enough shake. I think there's a lot of things within his kit that we need to pay attention to, specifically that expertise. If there's no cooldown after the clarifications that we have been given, that it is a damage debuff on 2 targets, which again, I think mainly right now is going to mitigate what Zhuge Liang is going to do, because everyone and their mother is running Zhuge Liang nowadays. So if you guys enjoyed, hit that like button, consider subscribing. It's been a while on one of these videos. I'll probably try and do a little bit more of them. Sorry guys, I like the streaming aspect. But yeah, with that, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Love y'all. Thank you so much for the support. I'm out. Take care. Peace.